Hey, Scott Hilton, Scott Talks, a little morning coffee from the Dunkin'. Look at that, I was tearing up. That's all right. Today I thought we'd just chat about free news on your streaming services, on your phone. You know, how do you get that? Well, on television, you could still use an antenna in some areas. Look for antennapoint.com. I think there's an antenna.org, antenna web, different things like that on the internet to see if your area supports it. A lot of antenna companies have their own little maps and ways to check out how many stations you might get with an indoor antenna, an outdoor antenna, different things like that. We've moved to Ocala and we cannot get a decent signal. I used to cheat in the neighborhood I was in, Spring Hill, Florida, and put it in the attic. But the new house has kind of like this metal sheeting for insulation, which would block signals. It could block cell phone signals for a lot. And it's already in a decent, not a great area. So we use Wi-Fi calling at the house a lot. So that interferes with that. And I checked and it turned out that possibly getting a Gainesville station would be an option for me on an antenna in Ocala. And I was like, oh dear. And I guess Orlando's out of the question. But we found a free streaming app, I think, for Orlando, and it says Central Florida, and so they talk about Ocala occasionally for the TV. So you just check your listings for the city near you. You know, like if you live near Charlotte, North Carolina, where I used to come from, you type in Charlotte, news, Charlotte, and see what comes up. You know, just news stations, churches will come up, different things like that. But get a news station. I found 2 on the Roku for our area, for Orlando, and 1 on the Apple TV, because there are tons of apps on Roku. Good gosh, there's too many. But Apple TV concentrates on the big apps. And there's one, and so I matched it up to my wife likes to watch the Roku, and I watch the Apple TV in the living room. That way we both have a remote. So I made sure it was the same app on both TVs, so we could be watching the same thing. And it's great for just watching the news and vegging out and you know, getting something to eat and kind of look up and see something. If you don't see anything interesting, at least you can hear it. So it's great for that. But some free apps you could look into are News Now, News On, Zim is news, Z-E-A-M, it's new. Local Now, different things like that are great for new. YouTube is my favorite place to catch local news stories. If something's going on, you just subscribe to that channel, with that local channel, and you'll get more and more of those news stories. The more you click on them, the more they'll come in. And you can search, you know, the big fires in California, you just search YouTube and you get 8,000 stories about the fires, and you can watch it over in different points of view from different cities, even around the world. You know, people commenting on the fires. It's interesting, it's great. So that's another way to go. The free over-the-air F.A.S.T services, free ad-supported stream television. TV is F.A.S.T, F.A.S.T services like PlutoTV, Tubi, T-U-B-I, is owned by Fox, so they'll have some Fox stations to watch, things like that. Check that. The Roku Channel is great. It'll have some news stuff, and look for local or something close to local for you. And the Roku Channel is available on Roku devices and some Fire devices, but not on the Apple TV, because they're 2 boxes that compete with each other. I've got both boxes. I got the Roku Ultra and the Apple TV box. But and my wife loves, and she doesn't have an iPhone. I have an iPhone. She has Samsung. So she's got her Samsung, and she's happy with that, her Galaxy. And I've got my Apple 15. I'm good. Apple 15 Pro. And the reason Apple's tricking us to get the Pro now instead of the regular one, because they have the old chip in the regular one now. Like last year's chip is in the regular iPhone 15, but the Pro has the new chip. Oh no, yeah. And then I always add a little more storage, so I could actually see stuff and download stuff without running. Her old phone, she was running out of room. I said, well, how many have you got in there? And she had, you know, with the basic. I said, no, you can't have the basic. We're going to spend another $100 or so and get you some storage so you can download some videos of the grandbaby and, you know, do stuff without, you know, download a movie, take it on a trip, you know, whatever. without worrying for 4 or 5 years until we get a new one, that you're going to run out of space. And she was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. Now she's happy as a clown because she's got space. Because my first phone was like first space. I was so mad because every time all those apps update, they update with more storage. They need more storage, every one of them. And then you need some storage to download stuff. You need that extra room to download it, and then it compresses and gets closer later on. So that's how it works. So you need room to download. And when Apple would have an update, that's more storage. Netflix gets more bells and whistles where it auto plays stuff and has videos playing in the background. That's more storage. You gotta have that. You gotta have a little room. So always, unless you're just grandparent out there with baby pictures and checking email, in the real world, you're gonna need some storage. You want to download some podcasts and go on the go, and always have your podcast with you. There might be a few cool ones that, like Smartless now. You may want to keep 10. I got Overcast for iPhone. It has this Overcast podcast app. It's great. You can tell it how many you want: 1, 3, 5, 10 podcasts to download at a time. You can put in 10, and it'll constantly rotate out the last one and keep you about 10 podcasts. So if you're on Smartless, you can just look at the name of the guest, and if it's someone you're interested in, you can just listen to that guest on that podcast. Simple. If it's something like a daily drive thing that just give you updates, the tech stuff, drive home or whatever it's called, you just may want one, so you can get that one cool little podcast for the way home, and that's it. When it's done. You're good. And stuff like that. There are some great little podcasts out there to listen to. I know some of you are true crime people. You got to have that. But you download them, and if someone says, hey, you get the latest Joe Rogan, oh yeah, I'll watch that. You might be big into Joe Rogan, and you may want a couple podcasts of his to keep all the time in your phone. You want stuff like that. You want a movie or TV show you're working on that your wife hates, but you want to keep, Peacemaker's coming out on again, another season, and your wife may think it's awful. And you may think it's the coolest thing ever. Say, James Gunn did it. Yeah, I don't care. So you got to download that and keep it with you. So when you get a chance to watch it, I'll watch it. In the mall, she goes into one of those girly stores, which is 9 out of 10 stores at the mall. And you're looking for a little bench or a little fountain or someplace to sit. You're like, oh, look at those vibrating recliners people are trying out. Yeah, I'll drop one of those and watch my Peacemaker. I'll be right out here, baby. And you're watching your Peacemaker. And you're, stuff like that. So, but anyway, back to the news. YouTube is my way to go. With weather, there are 1,000 weather apps on your phone that are faster than waiting to watch some news. I mean, you can catch it on that local news. You can catch local weather on YouTube. Type it in, and it should be able to figure out where you are. Google will figure it out. They know where you are. And watch some current local weather. It's a couple hours old. At least it's better than nothing. But there's so many apps on your phone. Just look at the app on the phone. Get your Weather Channel. The Weather Channel app on the TV version is not my favorite. Too many stories, too many watch this, so you make some money. And then you just want the basic weather. There are other apps that can do that. And looking at your phone or tablet, just look at the weather and say, okay, yeah, the next hour, and it'll rain maybe 20% in about 3 hours. Okay, I can go out and get back before something might happen or might not happen. It's fine. That's all you need. You just need to know, is it going to rain? What's the temperature? Is it going to snow or whatever? That's all you need. So that's, weather. You do not need cable anymore in this day and age. You can get all these great apps, great local stuff. I need my local channels. No, you don't. I mean, YouTube TV, Hulu Live Plus TV, all these things are $70, $80. You don't need local news for that. You need it for some sports. Some of that sports stuff. Coming this September, you're going to get Fox One app will be out. We'll see what that's got on it. That's going to have a lot of the Fox sports stuff. You're going to have the new ESPN app coming, updated with all those ESPN channels you're used to seeing on cable will be out, and that'll be on, and probably bundled with Disney Plus, probably with a great deal I've heard. So you might want to get that for a year. And will you need that YouTube TV for 70, 80 bucks? Or can you get by with Fox 1 and ESPN? Or if it's too much, you can just get your YouTube TV again, but only keep it seasonal. I mean, if you're big into college football and regular football and you got to see this and you got to see that, then for 6 months or so, you're paying 70, 80 bucks for one of those live services. Or you could get whatever they're charging for the news stuff, 30 bucks maybe, something like that, and just get what you want. Okay? So local is very overrated. Hello. Morning. And local is, a lot of them are going out of business. You know, they're losing their apps. Those apps that you see for local stations used to be everywhere. Now they're not. So just type in your city name, type it in with news if you want to, look for a news channel, download it, and get used to watching and see what they got. You know, it's not all going to be live because they don't broadcast 24/7, most of them. But they might give you a loop of stories they continually play, and that'll give you a constant news source. It might be a couple hours old, but that's all right. So you could get an antenna still, you know, if that works for you. If it does, it does. It doesn't, it doesn't. If you're close to a tower, great, you're set. You're not, and that's how you can get the sports. You got an antenna, boom, you're set, you're done. You don't need all that other stuff. But, you know, the premium streaming services will have sports. Some of them have news. Paramount Plus with Showtime is their ad-free version, and it gives you extra sports and news stuff. Like 12 different cities or some of the big cities, they'll broadcast that. Peacock will give you a little bit more with their ad-free Premium Plus service and get you some news. Check for news channels on that. But check for the regular Peacock. Usually Peacock's not worth getting unless you can get it on Black Friday for 20 bucks a year. That's what we do. Look for Black Friday deals. That's the way to go. We even got 6 months of Max for $2.99, something like that on Black Friday, and I wrote it down, man. When it's over, it's over. And now Peacekeeper's gonna be coming out soon. I'm like, oh, we don't have Max anymore. Oh, and the sad news, we had, I guess it was through Verizon. I asked Verizon and they said no, but Disney Plus with Hulu, we've had it forever. And it's always been there. And I've heard they're cutting back at Verizon on those extra services. You know, like, we'll give you this, free Disney, we'll give you this, and, you know, and charge you for it a little bit later or something. I'll give you a little deal for it. Well, they've cut back on that. We couldn't find it. I couldn't find it in the bill. I mean, I told them my phone number. I probably should have said my wife's phone number. But they looked in the bill, they said, no, we don't see where you're paying for it. Oh, really? He said, it might be a glitch. Why don't you just not say anything? So for a year or so, we had Disney Plus and Hulu, and the 22nd of June, 2025, it was gone. And I was like, oh man, lost one. So now we've got like 4 streaming services, which is average. 3 to 4 paid streaming services in our house is average for people. We've got Apple TV Plus. I love Apple TV Plus. We've been watching Stick, the new Ted Lasso-like comedy series about golf with Owen Wilson. It's great, great. When your wife says, is there another episode? Then you found a good show. And we always watch For All Mankind. Every time there's a new season for that, we're on it, baby. And we watch C and the movies that are out. I mean, they win the Academy Award for Best Picture just a couple years ago with Coda. It's a great service. You got to try it, at least a month. Got to try it. So we got our Paramount through Walmart Plus to get some delivery on that and some discounts. And some discounts, 25% off Burger King once a day if you go to Burger King. And different things like that. So got the Paramount Plus, and CBS is the #1 network in the United States, so they have the great shows, and you can tell you got a great network when they don't cancel hardly anything. You know, the same shows are going to be back in September, October, whenever they start up again. But usually I'd wait till October to get those network services. Why bother, right? You know, you can catch up, do a little Netflix and catch up. Summer's a great time to get Max, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video. If you don't have it with shipping, it's free with shipping, Amazon shipping. If you got that, you just got you got one free service for a year. And Apple TV Plus. Get it during the summer. You're running out of network stuff to watch. Get it during the summer. Catch those things, you know. It's the way to go. And look for local news. Look for news now. They're starting to push it more on the ad-free versions or the more premium version because news and sports are expensive. But if you get a free or some city close enough by to have as your local news, good enough. Good enough. But I encourage you to check YouTube. You should live on YouTube because you can get a 5-minute story, a 30-minute story, whatever you want on YouTube. You just look at the time index and go, yeah, I got 10 minutes, I got 5 minutes. That's it. So, good luck with the new local news. Drop cable. Just keep the internet or get your internet through your phone company. Ask them about what kind of deal they can give you and what kind of service and give it a try. Okay. Like, subscribe, and share if you learned anything. Bye. Coffee again. Coffee in the morning.